Okay, I'll get started. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. We'll go ahead and get started in a few minutes as folks are joining us in. While we wait, I do want to share that we have a few more educational sessions from the past. I'll go ahead and put them in the chat. If you are interested in previous information sessions, what we call info series, if you want to visit publicinput.com/DSD info series, you can check out a few of our previous sessions. This information series is all about our services, all about tips and insights and what we provide. Some of the previous sessions that we've had are the basics of landscape design, navigating Austin's development data. We had a session of building under home. The most recent one that we had last month in September was homeowner eligibility on homestead permits. So just go ahead and check those out. We have a recording in that page, publicinput.com/DSD info series. We have them until March. Like March 2025 was the first time we started this informational series. So we have quite a few. We do at least one a month. And so there's tons of content there. If you guys have missed it, you can go back, listen to them, and take a look at the PowerPoint presentation. We will go ahead and start getting started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Isis Lopez. I am the Engagement Manager for Development Services, one of the departments within the City of Austin. Thank you so much for joining us today in this educational series that we're calling Brick by Brick. So this series is designed with you, our community members, in mind, and it's all about connecting you with helpful information and practical tips and insights about the services that not only we, the development services, provide, but also other departments. In the past, like I mentioned, we've covered topics such as building under home. We had a topic of spring cleaning where we had like home maintenance tips with our code compliance specialists. We had basics of landscape design, and we had guest appearances from experts from watershed protection that had information all about grass, in addition to what needs a permit when you're doing some landscape design. We had a session on development data. So we have tons of information online. And so we had a session that talked about where to find information. And then the latest one that we had was, we had two, one on new air conditioning requirements, and then we had one on homestead permits. So those are available for you. I put it in the chat. That's publicinput.com/DSD info series. So each of these sessions is about helping homeowners and community members feel more informed and empowered with clear and useful information that help you navigate our process and make the most of the resources available to you. The topic for today are resources and services for starting a brick and mortar as a small business in the city of Austin. And so with us today, we have staff members, not only from Development Services Department, specifically from the development process team, but we also have folks here from Austin Water, Austin Public Health, and Economic Development here to talk to you all about the resources and the services that we have to offer. Specifically, if you are a small business owner and you're interested in navigating our processes, what's available for you today. Next slide, please. Before we get started, I want to overview the format for how the presentation will happen. So we'll have a presentation with our experts followed by an opportunity for you to ask some questions. And so we'll have some time dedicated for questions and answers at the end of the session. If you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to use the Q&A function of Zoom. That should be located in the bottom of your Zoom. If you have trouble locating that, go ahead and send me a chat and we'll troubleshoot that. At the end, we'll have two ways to participate. So you can raise your hand using the raise hand function, and you can voice your question, and our experts will have answers as they are available. And then, or you can use the Q&A function. The Q&A function helps us navigate whether we've answered the questions or not. So feel free to use that throughout the presentation. It helps us keep track of which ones we've answered and which ones we haven't versus the chat. But feel free to chat us as well if you are running into any technical difficulties or haven't figured out where the Q&A function is as well. I'll note that this presentation is being recorded and will be available in that public input page. And then we also will put a copy of the presentation in that public input page. And we'll try to answer as many questions as possible, but we might not have all the answers, or we might run out of time toward the end. And so we'll answer to the best of our ability, but there might be some that we can't answer. And for those, we'll go back and collect that information to the best of our abilities as well. Next slide, please. So topics for today, we are going to talk about development services, our department, and then we're going to talk about an overview about the development process. And we have experts here from our development process team to introduce themselves and talk about the services that they offer. We also have experts from Austin Public Health, Austin Water, and Economic Development. And then at the end, as I mentioned, we will have questions and answers, opportunity for you to ask questions to our experts. And like I mentioned, this presentation is being recorded and a copy will be provided in publicinput.com/DSD info series. And then be on the lookout for the chat, because there will be a few links that I will share as our experts are speaking. And so I'll go ahead and post those in the chat as well, but they'll be available in our publicinput.com/DSD info series as well. Next slide. All right, and with that, I'll turn it over to Natalia Rodriguez. Natalia?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, ECs. My name is Natalia Rodriguez. I am the acting Development Services Manager here with Development Services, Austin Development Services. Next slide. So at Austin Development Services, we help our community navigate the development process and comply with local regulations. We support homeowners, renters and leasers, business owners, and contractors. Next slide. Austin's development process is broken up into 3 phases: create your project, review and revise, and build and inspect. For those individuals who want to develop or construct in Austin, they will follow this development process. And this is what development services helps overall customers navigate in this process. Next slide. Starting with phase 1 of the development process, the owner is in complete control of creating their project's vision. During this phase, we recommend that owners do their research and assure that the other phases run smoothly. First, research the property's features, permit history, and development rules and criteria. You want to find answers to questions like, what permits do I need? What is the zoning of the property? Can I open my business with this existing zoning? Is the property located in a floodplain? Are there any expired permits on the property? Answering questions like these will better prepare you for phase 2. Second, you may want to consider consulting design professionals. A trustworthy architect, engineer, and contractor that is properly registered and licensed with the state of Texas can save your project from many headaches. Lastly, gather your finances. As you're completing your research, keep in mind that city fees will be required throughout the development process. Next slide. The second phase of the development process is review and revise. In this phase, applications will be submitted for review to verify that the proposed project complies with the city's regulations. After these reviews, permits will be issued. Since all properties and projects are different, not all of these processes will be required, but the overall order is zoning, subdivision, site plan, building plan, and permitting. To go into more detail about these processes, the zoning process establishes what you can and cannot build on a property and outlines the development rules that must be followed. The subdivision process establishes that the property is a legal lot as required by the state of Texas. The site plan process reviews how the land is being used and where development is occurring on the property. The building plan process reviews how the building is being constructed. So it reviews all of the structural elements from foundation all the way to roofing. And the last step is permitting. Once we confirm that the project meets all of these required processes in this phase, the general contractor and or the trade contractors can pay for and activate the permits. And then we can move on to phase 3. But remember, since every property and project is different, not all of these processes in this phase will be required. The property and scope of work will determine what is actually required. So as we mentioned in phase 1, it's really important to do your research. And a great resource to help you get started is the Small Business Permitting webpage. This webpage includes the most common types of small businesses, or the most common types of permits for small businesses, as well as other helpful information. And I believe we're providing that in the chat. Next slide. In phase 3 of the development process, build and inspect, contractors can begin to build a compliant and safe construction project as reviewed and approved in phase 2. During this phase, our inspectors will visit the site to perform inspections throughout construction. So once the inspector confirms that the construction is in compliance with all city and building codes, the permits will be closed, the certificate will be issued, and the development will be safe to use and occupy. Next slide, please. So now that we have reviewed the overall development process that is required for the city, you might have questions about what the required permits are for your proposed projects or where to get started. And the development process team is here to help. Next slide. We believe that everyone should be able to do business with the city of Austin. So we are a dedicated group to enhance the customer experience. We provide support and education about our department. We offer direct support to those encountering obstacles, and we simplify complex processes and procedures. Additionally, we host community and stakeholder engagement activities and presentations with many community members and organizations, such as small business organizations, community groups, and development-related organizations. And based on all of this customer feedback that we receive in our customer interactions and engagement activities, we also recommend, initiate, and lead department-wide process improvements to improve upon our customers' experience. Next slide. We offer one-on-one customer support for homeowners, small business owners, and those leasing the properties. So if you're a customer who is unfamiliar with the development process and you're going through it yourselves, then we are here for you. So if you're a small business owner and it's your first time going through the development process, or you might be opening a new business, and like I said previously, each property is different and you're not sure where to start or what permits are required, we are here to help you. So please come and talk with us. Next slide. Our team helps customers by acting as a single point of contact throughout the development process, by connecting customers to technical experts in the city, and by providing education and resources to our customers every step of the way. So as I was describing phase 2 in that development process and phase 3, we provide support throughout that entire process, from coming into the zoning review all the way until you get your certificate of occupancy or other approvals for permits. Next slide. So if you need one-on-one customer support, feel free to contact us by phone, email, or by scheduling an in-person or virtual appointment. Or if you would like for us to provide a catered presentation to a group or organization that you are connected with, please call or email us, and we would love to meet with you. My colleague should be providing our team's webpage in the chat, or you can scan the QR code on the right side of the screen to get to our webpage. On our webpage, you can find our contact information and appointment links to schedule those appointments with us. explore educational videos about the development process, and access other helpful resources.
Thanks, Natalia. Thanks for all that information on our development process. Super helpful. And then y'all heard it. I will also be posting in the chat the link for the development process team. And so a lot of the businesses in the city of Austin, small businesses, are restaurants. And so because of that, we have here our experts from Austin Public Health. Next slide, please, to talk to you about what it takes to start a food enterprise in Austin, Travis County. So for that, we have Andy. Andy, take it away.
Thank you, ECs. My name is Andy Thompson. I'm a program manager with the Environmental Health Services Division of Austin Public Health, and our office are your health inspectors. So like EC said, a lot of small businesses in Austin revolve around food and food service. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to give an overview of what you could expect in the development process if you're serving food. Next slide, please. So as you go through the development process, you're going to be looked at by mechanical inspectors, plumbing inspectors, electrical inspectors, and if you serve food, you're also going to get looked at by a health inspector. We're going to look at your blueprints. We're going to look at your processes, what you plan on doing in the kitchen, and make sure that you have all the equipment and all the necessary gear that you need to effectively run your kitchen, safely run your kitchen, and operate within the guidelines of the FDA Food Code. Next slide, please. So what is a food establishment, right? And what's required? So every food establishment is required to have a health department permit. And a permit is required to serve, store, or produce food, beverages, or ice in Austin and Travis County. Austin Public Health serves the city of Austin, but also we contract with the other municipalities in Travis County and Travis County itself. So if you're in the unincorporated area of Travis County, we're going to come bug you. If you're in Pflugerville, Manor, Bee Cave, Rollingwood, we're going to come bug you. So just because you're outside of city limits doesn't mean you're outside of our reach. Next slide. So when I say that a food establishment needs a permit, this is what we're talking about. A food establishment is an operation that stores, prepares, packages, serves, or vends food directly to a consumer, or provides food for human consumption. So sometimes this food might even be given away for free. That still counts as a food establishment. The food doesn't know whether it's free or for sale, whether it's going to get you sick or not. So obviously this includes bars, coffee shops, ice cream shops, juice and smoothie stands, bakeries, catering companies, anybody who's serving food. Now keep in mind that the definition of food in the food code includes ice. Ice is food. Drinks are food. Even if you're just serving cans of beer, if you open that beer, we're going to come and do an inspection, make sure you even have just your hand washing sinks that you need. So everything from a simple ice cream shop up to a full service restaurant is included in the food establishment definition. Next slide, please. What's not considered a food establishment? So not all food types would fall into this category. So for example, if you have all prepackaged food that doesn't require refrigeration, you might be exempt from needing a permit. So if you're just selling cans of Coke and bags of chips, then we don't need to regulate anything about that. Also, a produce stand that only offers whole fruits and vegetables. If you're not cutting anything, then you don't need to be inspected. You can serve that, you can sell that food as is, whole and intact to the consumer without a permit. Also in Texas, there's something called the cottage food production operation. There's a certain list of foods that you can cook and prepare and package at your house, and then go and sell it at a farmer's market from your house and other sites available. And if you want to look that up, there's very specific rules. It's called the Texas Cottage Food Law. If you Google that, you're going to find some very useful websites that will tell you what kinds of foods you're allowed to do and what the limitations of that style of business is. If you fall into the cottage food production operation, you don't need a permit from the health department. Next slide. So here's some examples of food establishments. Fixed food establishments, which is what I'm going to focus on today, because this series is called the Brick-and-Mortar series, and it's really about fixed food restaurants in a building. There's also self-service markets. We even permit vending machines, central preparation facilities, ghost kitchens. We also permit mobile food, your food trucks, temporary food events, and farmers markets. So these are all the different kinds of permits that we issue here at Austin Public Health. Next slide. So a fixed food establishment, your brick and mortar restaurant, the purpose of this presentation can be opened or can start their journey two different paths. Next slide. And those two paths are by way of a change of ownership or by way of a certificate of occupancy. So a change of ownership is when a new establishment opens in a space that has either recently been permitted as a food facility or is currently permitted as a food establishment. And so really that's just a new business moving into an existing kitchen. The other way is this certificate of occupancy, which is a process that will follow remodeling and building permits and going through the development process like that. So I'm going to start with change of ownership and kind of describe what that process looks like and what you can expect. Next slide. So again, a change of ownership is taking over an existing kitchen. Next slide. And what we're talking about here, again, is a previously permitted food business in the same space. So you wouldn't be making any changes that weren't cosmetic. So you could paint, put up your new signs, decorate, move in furniture, and some new equipment. Not every piece of equipment that you're going to bring in is one for one. So if you are if you're bringing in extra coolers or need extra plumbing installed to accommodate a piece of equipment that is unique to your business, then you might have to end up going through the development process, talking to a plumbing inspector. And if you're pulling building permits to go through that process, then you're going to need to submit plans to our office. That's part of the certificate of occupancy track. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But if you're just doing swapping out an old oven for a new oven, like for like equipment, you still fit in this change of ownership process, which is a little simpler because it doesn't involve plan review. Also, a change of ownership could apply when there's just another business moving into an existing restaurant, to where there's two businesses operating out of the same space. Such examples, you have commissary kitchens, central prep facilities, ghost kitchens, where there's multiple businesses operating in the same building. They just use the kitchen at different times. In that case, we would just do a change of ownership for anybody who's moving in. Next slide. With the change of ownership, you would apply for the inspection itself, the change of ownership pre-opening inspection, and then for the application, you would put an application in for the food permit, which is the permit that will be renewed every year. So you'd submit a food service application, pre-opening inspection application, and then the operator is not required to pass the initial inspection. The operator is required to pass an initial inspection before they can begin operating. That's a typo right there. The word "not" should be removed. Sorry about that. I don't want you to be confused. You must pass all the inspections before you can start operating in your kitchen. Next slide. During the health inspection, the health inspector will check the facility for code violations. So we're going to check for all your equipment, make sure all your doors are tight fitting. I think I have a whole list on an upcoming slide, so we'll wait for that. But based on the findings of that inspection, we'll either go ahead and issue a permit, or we might issue a conditional permit if there's only a couple things wrong that need to be fixed before you can open. So we'll give you 60 days to do that, get open, start making some money, make some repairs, and then we'll come see you again. Or you might just fail the inspection, no permit is issued, and you'd be asked to make repairs and then reapply for another pre-opening inspection. Next slide. So before you sign a lease, we recommend that you check these items, because these are kind of the big ticket items. You want to contact development services to find out if the space that you're wanting to occupy has a certificate of occupancy that allows for food service use. Now, you might move into a space that used to be a store that sells eyeglasses, right? And then you move in and you want to bring in some equipment and become a place that sells sandwiches. Now, that space was not allowed or validated as a food service establishment, in which case that certificate of occupancy would not support a restaurant. You would have to make changes. You'd have to make use changes to the space before you could operate. And so that would be an expense that you'd want to consider before you move in. So it's important to check the status of the certificate of occupancy for your desired space. In addition to that, I think our friends at Industrial Waste are going to tell you more about grease trap requirements. And so if you're operating as a restaurant, you have different things going down the drain. And you may be required to have a grease trap. If there's not one there already, it can be expensive. If there is one there already, it might need to be repaired. It might not be the right size. There's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at the facilities, especially as far as grease traps go. Next slide. In addition to things going down the drain, there's also things going out your ventilation. So above your grill, you have a big hood vent that vents things to the outside, and there's different types of vents for different types of cooking, whether you're frying or you're grilling, and so it may be required that you have to change your ventilation, which could also be costly. So it's important to make sure that your vent hood is the correct type before moving in. You can consult the mechanical reviewers at Development Services to confirm what type of vent you need. And then finally, all of our inspections are public information. So you're always welcome to ask for previous health inspections or code violations for an address and see what types of issues have been noted there in the past. This is good due diligence to complete before moving in, so you know what you might be getting into. Next slide. And then finally, if you're considering moving into a space, it's no harm to just request a change of ownership inspection. You don't have to apply for a food permit at the same time as requesting this inspection. Having us come out, give you a checklist of things that need to be fixed, what needs to come up to code, and potential repairs can help you decide whether you want to move forward with a lease or not. Once you've signed your lease, legally you might be stuck, but it's good to be informed prior to making those decisions. So give us a call. We'll come out and we'll give you a list of things that you'll need to complete. Next slide. So the other track of getting open in a fixed food restaurant or a fixed food establishment is a certificate of occupancy, which is a little different than the change of ownership inspection because you're going to make significant changes prior to moving in. Next slide. So when do you need a new CO? A CO is required when you're building a new establishment. So from the ground up, you have a brand new building, or if you're making significant changes to an existing building. And again, those changes don't include carpet or paint. This is when you're actually moving electrical, mechanical, or plumbing features in that existing space. The CO is tied to the building. It doesn't travel with an owner. It's the space itself. It's a mark that the building department says this space is safe to occupy. And if your remodeling requires a building permit, then your existing CO becomes invalid and is subject to new reviews and new inspections. Next slide. You must go through the building process if you're building from the ground up or remodeling. You're going to need approvals from mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire, building, health, industrial waste, and zoning. And so once all those are approved, your building permit is issued and your construction can begin. So once all of your plan reviews get through each discipline, and hopefully only go through one revision, then you can go ahead and start construction. Once you're done building, once you're finished with your construction, An inspector from each of these disciplines is going to come out to your site and make sure you built it according to plan and everything is up to code. And once all of your inspections pass, that new certificate of occupancy will be cleared, and you can get your food permit approved, and then you can begin operation. And only a registered contractor can activate a building permit. Next slide. So as far as health in the plan review process, we're one of the boxes that has to be checked as you go through each discipline. So if you're starting a new business to sell glasses, you're not going to see us. But if your plan review, if your plan set has anything to do with food, if they see a kitchen in there, you're probably going to be subject to health review. Now, you might be an office building that has a break room for employees. That looks like a little kitchen, and you might get flagged for health review. We'll look at that, determine what the use for that kitchen is, and decide whether you need a permit or not. So a building that has a kitchen for employee use is not a permitted food establishment. No one in there is working the kitchen and supplying food. It's just a place for employees to heat up their lunch. So we do make determinations about whether you need an inspection or not, or need a plan review or not. But if you have food service, you're going to come across our desk and you'll be subject to review for the applicable health codes. Next slide. We do have a help desk available at the Permitting Development Center at Wilhelmina Delco Drive. And so if you would like to set up a time to speak to a health inspector or a health reviewer, you can do so. I think that link can be provided either in the chat or after this meeting. Thank you, ECs. Next slide. So as far as requirements, we have 18 general requirements for pre-opening inspection. So whether you go down the change of ownership track or the certificate of occupancy track, by the time we're actually in your kitchen looking at your final ready product to determine whether you can open or not, it's the same inspection requirements. So these are them, so that you submit an application for your food permit, that you have a clear certificate of occupancy for your location. Refrigeration is maintaining 41 degrees or below. All the facilities and fixtures that you need, such as mop sinks, warewashing sinks, that you have hot water, cold water, that you have enough hand washing sinks in place and splash guards in place. This inspection really is different than your routine health inspections because this is all about facilities, right? In this case, you haven't moved food into the establishment yet. So really, we're just looking to make sure everything is ready and in place. Next slide. There's a few more requirements here. We look at cross connections at your hose. We look for exterior doors being tightly sealed, that you have trash cans and employees must wash hand signs. General, is this buttoned up and ready to go requirements. One of the things we also check that Austin Public Health enforces is the smoking in public places ordinance. So you see number 16 talks about the City of Austin smoking ordinance, having no smoking signs, ensuring that any ashtrays or smoking areas are far enough away from exterior doors and windows. And then, of course, that your dumpster isn't on the dirt. In case your dumpster leaks, we wanted to make sure that it's on concrete or asphalt and has the plug in the dumpster. So we're all over the place. We're looking inside, we're looking outside. But like I said, the inspection requirements for a CO inspection and a change of ownership inspection are the same. Next slide. Once you get open, now it's kind of the after the development process. Once your food permit is approved and you're open and operating, then we do our routine health inspections. So this is when we're actually inspecting your food, watching you cook, making sure everyone's washing their hands. And we do those inspections based on a risk analysis. We look at how many people you serve, what type of food you make, and how many employees you have to determine how many times we're going to come and visit you throughout the year. A low risk establishment will get 1 inspection per year. A medium risk will get 2 inspections per year, and a high risk will get 3 inspections per year. And don't think of risk as a bad word, right? Because just because you're considered a higher risk doesn't mean you're doing bad. It just means the type of processes you do in your kitchen are more risky, such as serving raw undercooked foods, handling foods with your bare hands, things like that. So we'll come and see you 1 to 3 times per year. Your first inspection is always a freebie. There's no score associated with that. And then all subsequent inspections are scored. If you continuously score low, you get bad inspections, then we may increase your inspection frequency. And on the flip side, if you continually score high and do really well, then we could reduce your inspection frequency. And why that's important, one, you have to see us too many times, or you can see us fewer times, but also your risk is tied to your permit fee. So a low risk 1 time per year permit is cheaper than a high risk 3 times per year permit. So doing well on your inspection not only is good for your customers and for your business, it can also save you a little money. Next slide. This is an example of our inspection report. We have multiple items that we come and we check. You can see things are grouped by categories such as time and temperature, employee health, food temperature control and identification, and physical facilities. So we break our inspection report down based on categories like that. And each one of these violations is worth anywhere from 1 to 3 points out of 100. Next slide. You can find more information about our office at our website at austintexas.gov under Austin Public Health, and our division is Environmental Health Services. On that site, you can find our fee schedule, and we actually have a new fee schedule as of October 1st, 2025. If you have questions about that, please feel free to let me know. I can do my best to describe that to you. But again, you can find that on our website under Environmental Health Services. Next slide. Other useful links you would find on our website is the Texas Food Establishment Rules and the FDA Food Code. You can also find rules about the Texas Health and Safety Code, the guidelines for food handlers and food managers, and the food establishment permit information under Chapter 247. Next slide. In addition to that, you have development review, permitting, and inspection information, more links and information for the development process under commercial plan review, activating a food permit. And then that last link is also very useful, which is the Austin Library for Municipal Ordinances. So I hope you found that to be informative and not too much information. And again, I know we're going to have plenty of time for questions, so I'll turn it back over to Isis. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andy, so much for all the helpful information and letting us know what it takes and what to do when you're starting a food enterprise in Austin. What are some of the requirements that we look for, and what's considered a food establishment? So that was super helpful information that we have. And up next, we'll be having, as we are talking about restaurants, it makes sense to also invite our colleagues over at Austin Water. We are working on some improvements for the permitting process, and so we have Elizabeth here who's gonna talk to us about some of the things that we're doing, and we're partnering with Austin Water. As we mentioned, Andy went through from an Austin public health perspective what were some of the things that are required for those fixed food establishments, and so Austin Water also plays a big part of it. We outlined it a little bit with Grease Trap. And so we will go ahead and get started. We can move possibly to slide 42. We are having some hard presentation, so bear with us, folks, as we move through the presentation. And again, this is being recorded, and so this will be available on publicinput.com/DSD info series. Andy had a ton of links, helpful links on codes and policies, so all of those links will be available in the copy of that presentation. And he also had some links on how to schedule an appointment and where to find that public health information. So super helpful as you are looking to start your food establishment. And so I'll turn it over to Liz from Austin Water to get us started on our next portion. Liz.
All right, thank you, Isis. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Coy. I am the Special Operations Program Manager with the Austin Water Utility Compliance Services Division. Jay Porter, who's the Division Manager of the UCSD, is also on the line and available to assist with any questions as we go along. Next slide, please. So the primary programs of the Utility Compliance Services Division are industrial waste control, which Andy referenced. Industrial waste control is also referred to as pretreatment. And we also have water protection and environmental management. Each program includes strict enforcement requirements. However, our utmost aim is promoting consistent regulatory compliance to assist customers in the protection of the environmental health and safety, reduce pollutants, and minimize waste and liability. Next slide, please. So we've been looking for ways to help small businesses, and our focus has been on identifying ways to streamline the permitting process and make it easier for small business to get or replace a grease trap. Next slide, please. In late 2024, with the help of the Texas Restaurant Association, along with Austin Development Services and Austin Public Health, we conducted an online poll about the city's permitting process. The responders overwhelmingly felt that the biggest opportunity for improvement for the city would be reducing the amount of time it takes to go through the permitting process. Of course, without all the appropriate permits, you're not able to be in business. So next slide, please. As a result of that survey, our division is currently updating our grease trap, or also known as grease interceptor requirements, and grouping businesses into 4 risk categories, 0 to 3, much like Austin Public Health. The risk categories are based on how likely they are to send grease down the drain and cause a sanitary sewer overflow. So this is instead of, for instance, all establishments being lumped into one general group, regardless of their specific food handling practices. And then before I move forward, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and that traditionally in the city of Austin, all commercial and institutional food preparation businesses have been required to have a grease trap. And then as a high-level overview of grease traps, they are pretreatment devices designed to separate fats, oils, and grease, as well as solids normally found in food preparation waste from going with the rest of the wastewater discharge into the city's sanitary sewer system. Next slide, please. So with the new categories, some facilities that previously needed a grease trap will no longer need one, or may be allowed to use a more cost-efficient solids interceptor instead. This may apply to something like a basic sandwich shop. Some facilities may be allowed to use a grease trap monitoring system instead of replacing their current grease trap, which can easily cost tens of thousands of dollars. And then finally, some facilities may receive a pump out variance, allowing more time between required grease trap pump outs by a liquid waste hauler, and the service costs about $600 or more. So anytime we can prevent that service, that's just extra cost savings for the restaurant. With that said, Austin Water needs to ensure sanitary sewer overflow compliance with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ. So variances will be approved with that in mind. And to protect the city's sanitary sewer system, of course, some businesses like full service restaurants will still be required to have a grease trap, and with the standard 90-day pump out requirement. These establishments will be eligible for a new program that we're developing called the Grease Trap Relief Program, which is set to launch in late fiscal year 26. I'll talk about more about the Grease Trap Relief Program later, but before that, I also wanted to mention, in addition to the new categories, possibly cutting down on plan review time for certain businesses, the new system also includes opportunity for waived or reduced annual wastewater discharge permit fees and surcharge fees. In addition, we will provide education on best management practices that, when implemented, would naturally reduce those surcharge fees. Next slide, please. So the Grease Trap Relief Program, as I mentioned, is currently under development. With this program, Austin Water will cover grease trap installation and replacement costs for qualifying food service establishments. This represents a potential savings of $30,000 or more for both new and existing approved businesses. For Austin Water, this relief program helps with the goal of encouraging economic growth for small businesses in Austin, and replacing failed grease traps will help Austin Water lower cleaning and maintenance costs and help to prevent costly sanitary sewer overflows. So it's a win-win for both. Next slide, please. So when closer to launch, we'll add program information to the Austin Water website, and interested food service establishments will submit an online application. Once submitted, applications will go through a completeness check and then a qualification review by UCSD staff. If approved for a grease trap replacement or new installation, the applicant will sign a legal agreement, since the city would be paying for services on private property, and the grease trap would be owned by the food service establishment, not the city. Next slide, please. Once the legal agreement is signed, UCSD staff will select a vendor from a contract with a list of qualified contractors to perform the installation or replacement. The City of Austin doing the coordination has several benefits for the food service establishment, including: one, a streamlined process, as UCSD staff already works with these installers. Two, assurance the grease trap is appropriate for the specific site. Three, final inspection of the grease trap installation to ensure it is installed and working as expected. And then four, payment for the city or from the city directly to the contractor. Next slide, please. So one important thing to note is that any grease trap installed as part of the relief program will be required to have a monitoring system installed. The monitoring system would have an estimated $300 per year service fee per device. However, to help offset this, UCSD will waive the annual wastewater discharge permit fee, which itself is almost $300. The monitoring service itself has several benefits. This includes: one, alerts when pump out is needed, and the service would be coordinated by the vendor, making pretreatment compliance easier. Two, after a pump out, users can use the online platform to verify if the liquid waste hauler did a sufficient job, or if not, the liquid waste hauler would be called out again to complete the job. And three, 24/7 monitoring of the grease trap with alarms for issues that could indicate the trap is not working properly. So these alarms would bring awareness to problems inside the grease trap that otherwise would not be known, and that can potentially prevent the issue from becoming something that can temporarily shut down the business and/or harm the local environment. Next slide, please. So as mentioned before, any grease trap installed with the relief program will be owned by the food service establishment. This means that all maintenance and repair costs after installation or replacement will be the responsibility of the food service establishment, and the city will not cover any ongoing upkeep. Next slide, please. We are aiming to launch the relief program in the summer of 2026, and then it will be ongoing from there. The main factor in the timing is how long it takes for us to finalize a vendor contract, which is something that we are actively working on right now. Then as launch approaches, we will conduct outreach events in partnership with the Texas Restaurant Association, and also share information during our regular Stop the Grease Blob community education outreach events throughout the city. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the relief program, you can reach out anytime via email at awgreasetraprelief@austintexas.gov. And then with that, I will hand it back over to EC.
Liz, thank you so much for sharing that information on like what we are doing to help our small business owners and provide some of that relief. So be on the lookout for that information. We are definitely looking forward to it next summer and in the coming months as y'all roll it out. And so more than just restaurants, the City of Austin has other services available, programs and services for other small businesses in the City of Austin. We talked a little bit about restaurants because there are a lot of small business restaurants in Austin, but we have other services. And for that, we have Danny with Austin Economic Development. Danny, what do you have to talk to us about today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Danny Brewer. I am a program manager with Austin Economic Development. And today I'm going to show you how Austin Economic Development can make your small business or your local business successful. Next slide. I am part of the Small Business Division, and I'm going to show you what we do. Next slide. This is our mission and our objective. Next slide. So service and program that can help your small business. And first one is BizAid Business Orientation. This is a class that we offer. We offer it 4 times a month, 2 in person and 2 virtually. This should be your first stop as a small business owner. It's going to go over all the resources here locally that you can take advantage of as a small business owner, whether you need a business coach, you need a mentor, you're looking to start a nonprofit, you're looking for funding, whatever it is, we go over all the resources. And once you take this session, you can sign up for our small business coaching at no charge. You can meet with the small business coach as much as you want to, and it's a great opportunity to network too. So recommend signing up for our BizAid Business Orientation, Artist Career Training. If you're an artist and you're looking to monetize what you're doing, look at signing up for Artist Career Training. It's going on right now, but we'll offer it again next year. Business coaching, like I said, business coaching is a great way to improve your knowledge about making decisions, because every business we start, there's always going to be risk associated with starting a business. We cannot take out all the risks. So we sit down with business coaches, business mentors, so we can minimize those risks and make more informed decisions. And I always recommend sitting down with business coaches, sitting down with our business coach. When you take BizAid, you'll learn about other business coaches here locally at no charge. All these business coaches and mentors that we provide in our BizAid business orientation, there's no charge to sit down with those. And another business coaching that we offer is for cooperatives. So cooperative is just a legal structure. So we're familiar with an LLC, corporation, a nonprofit. Cooperative is just another legal structure. If if you're interested in maybe starting a cooperative or want to learn more about it, you can definitely sit down with our business coach cooperatives, and you can see if that's something that interests you. Next slide. Classes. So this is where we're going to build our business acumen so we can make more informed decisions, minimize those risks that come when we do become business owners, because there's always going to be risk. We have a great class coming up on Thursdays, Test Before You Invest. So what that class is, typically, traditionally, how we started a business is we have this great idea. After we have this great idea, we'll write the business plan. After the business plan, if we need funding, we take it to the loan, banks or micro lenders. And after that, we'd open the doors. And after we open our doors for business, we get customer feedback. And with that customer feedback, that's maybe when we would pivot or we would change some things in our business. So with the Test Before You Invest classes coming up on Thursday, we look at it a little bit different, and we take a different approach to starting a business. So what we say in this class is, before we start doing the business plan, before we do anything, let's connect with customers first. So we take that, and it's very interactive. So if this interests you, yeah, sign up for the class and you'll learn a lot about your business, and it's a great way to network with other people. Most of our classes are taught during the day. There is a $20 charge for the for our classes. After you take 6 of our classes, you get a business skills certificate. There is a certification, and with the certification, they hold these a couple times every year, and they try to do them at different places around the city. They invite the city leadership. So it's a great way to network and learn something. We have classes that are cutting edge AI. I took the AI class a couple months ago, and they're introducing how to use AI into your marketing. I thought that was really cool. Our business plan class, and all these classes come with a toolkit. So what's a toolkit? A toolkit's something you can take and it's digital and you can have all these resources with you. So maybe you're not going to look at it today, but you can look at it next week. So it's really cool. And you know, when you take the Biz A class, if you like our classes, but you want to go somewhere else, yeah, I'll show you other places to take other classes. But I think our classes, for what you pay, you definitely get your money's worth. Here's our big event, Small Business Fundamentals Week. This one's coming up in January. So if you go to our website and sign up for the Small Business Fundamentals Week classes, during the Fundamentals Week and National Small Business Week, our classes are no charge. So this is a great way if you want to get your business skills certificate and maybe you know, save some dollars. You can sign up for the Fundamentals Week, which is coming up in January. The National Small Business Week is first week in May, and the Women's Entrepreneurial Luncheon is typically around the October timeframe. That just happened last week. Next slide. And some more resources. Austin Public Library, they actually have a database for business and nonprofits. I always recommend checking out, you know, your local free resources. And with the business and nonprofit database, there's about 30 resources that you can jump on at your house. If you have a library card, one of the popular ones is A to Z database. And with this one, you can look at your industry here in Austin. How's it doing? You can look at a certain business, see how they're doing. You can get some historical information on those businesses, revenue, employees, trends, and you can put the businesses on a map. You can put it on a graph. So it's a lot of information and it's open source. So you can go in there and, you know, instead of going to Google, you can go here and you know it's reliable. Small business resources. If you're looking for a small business resource and you don't know where to go, I would recommend going to our webpage, smallbizaustin.org, and go to the bottom and you'll see the small business resources. And on there, there's about 13 different categories for resources. You can narrow it down from federal, state to local, and you can look for local business coaches, local nonprofit assistants, and there's different categories you can select. And it's all the resources in there will be either government agencies or nonprofits, so they're not going to make you pay a subscription or pay up front for their services. Small business expansion incentive program. So if you're looking for incentives for your business, this is also with the Austin Economic Development Department, and we can assist you with that. And last is Austin Size Up. So as business owners, we're always researching, always looking at what other businesses are doing, how they're doing it, how they're marketing, what they're pricing. And so this is a great way for you to research your industry. This is open source information. And when we think about, you know, the bigger businesses, you know, whether it's the Costco's or the Starbucks and they're coming into your neighborhood, how they get all this information, this is the perfect location. This is a lot of the information that you're using. We at Austin Economic Development, we pay a premium to get this research information to small business owners, and it's yours at no charge. So I'd take advantage of austinsizeup.com. Join us at BizAid, take some classes, sign up for coaching, and yeah, thank you for your time. I think that's it. Next slide. Oh yeah, so last slide. This is our email. So if you have any questions about the presentation today, you can email us at smallbiz@austintexas.gov. This is our newsletter. So to find out when events are, you know, kicking off, when the classes are up for whether it's a fundamentals week or National Small Business Week, you can scan the QR code. We send out 2 newsletters every month. We don't spam you, and you'll get a lot of great information. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Jenny. And again, take advantage of those resources, tons of services, tons of programs that Danny shared. We will share a copy of the presentation so you can take a look at them. And I posted some of those links in the chat. Great classes and such a great resource to have that research information, Danny, that we have. And so this is the portion of our session where you get to ask us questions and you get to ask our experts. Our experts are now going to turn on their cameras and be ready for any questions that we have. There are a few that were already asked in the Q&A portion. So if you want to take a look at it, some of our experts have already answered those questions. One question that was asked is, how do we validate what professionals are licensed with Texas? And so one of our experts posted a link where you can get active state licenses for trade contractors. And so our development process team, Angie Baker and Natalia Rodriguez, answered that. So thank you for answering that. And then somebody asked if we have Spanish information. And so yes, we offer Spanish information, and Alejandra was able to answer that information in Spanish. And so again, this presentation is being recorded. If you can go to the next slide, please. As y'all are thinking of any questions that you might have, as we wait for any participants to have any questions, let us know how we did. That QR code gives you a opportunity to let us know how we did. It asks you whether you learned information, what was it helpful for you, and it has an opportunity for you to give us feedback. And then join us at our next session. Publicinfo.com/GSD info series. We have monthly sessions where you can check out more information on services and programs that we have to offer in development services. And we have guest speakers from other departments. And again, we have a recording of our previous sessions at publicinfo.com/DSD info series. I don't see any questions in the chat. Appreciate all of our subject matter experts who talked to us about the development process, an overview of what to expect if you're starting a brick and mortar, who to talk to, who are the first people that you can reach out to if you want a little bit of help and assistance. That's our development process team who can help connect you to the right place. And then what it takes to start a food enterprise from public health, and what are some of the improvements that we have going on from Austin Water. And then what are some classes and services that are available from our economic development department. I don't see any questions. I appreciate everyone for being here today. I appreciate our subject matter experts for taking the time to talk to y'all. We will see you until next time. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.